got to talk about the declining and basically dead Democrat Party today because it just continues to get worse. It just continues to get worse. Just when you thought the Democrat Party was done tanking, they tank even further. Somehow, some kind of way. And it doesn't seem like it's going to change course anytime soon. But with that being said, let's dive in.
More of an uphill battle than conventional wisdom might suggest. CNN chief data analyst Harry Enton runs the numbers on why things are looking bleak in the search for new Democratic voters.
Hey, Jessica, happy Sunday. Look, the Democratic brand right now has about the appeal with the American voter as the Cracker Barrel rebrand has with the American consumers. Bad, bad, bad. What are you doing? Oh, my goodness gracious. What are we talking about here in terms of big party registration changes in the key swing states? Let's look at the key 4 swing states that, in fact, do keep track of registration by party. Look, the Republican Party is in their best position at this point in the cycle since at least 2005. In all 4 of these key battleground states, we go out to the Southwest. Arizona. How about Nevada? Republicans haven't done this well since 2005. Oh, my goodness gracious, at this point in the cycle. North Carolina, I couldn't find a point at which Republicans were doing better at this point in the cycle. It's at least this century. It probably goes way back in the last century. And Pennsylvania, very similar. Republicans doing better at this point than at any point this century, at least as far as I could find. Now, what types of gains are we talking about here for the Republican Party? Well, let's compare it to this point during the first Trump administration all the way back in 2017. Look at this. The Republican Party gains in party registration compared to this point back in 2017 during the Trump first administration. In Arizona, you got a Republican gain of 3 points. Okay, how about Nevada? Up the hill we go, even though we're sticking in the Southwest. A gain of 6 points. How about, again, we come to the East Coast, North Carolina, a gain of 8 points for the Republicans. And in the Keystone State, in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, again, we're talking about a gain of 8 points. My goodness gracious, for Republicans, they are converting old former Democrats to their side of the ledger, as well as picking up new voters, registering new voters, and it absolutely paid off for them back in the 2024 election. Now, of course, Donald Trump has been president since January. Are there any bright spots for Democrats? Have they picked up any ground since January 1 in terms of party registration? Not in these key swing states, these 4 key swing states. What are we talking about? Party registration margin gain since January 1, 2025. Which parties gain in Arizona? The GOP. How about Nevada? The GOP. North Carolina? The GOP. How about in Pennsylvania? We'll make it 4 for 4, the GOP. The bottom line is this, Jessica Dean. When it comes to party registration, Republicans have made massive gains compared to 8 years ago. They are in their best position in these key 4 swing states dating back at least 20 years. You have to go back at least 20 years, at least in the case of Nevada, longer in North Carolina and Pennsylvania. So Republicans looking pretty gosh darn good, at least when it comes to party registration. And we'll see what happens down the road. But at this point, as I said at the beginning, the Democratic brand is in about as good a position as the Cracker Barrel rebrand. It is bad, bad, bad for the Democrats. Back to you.
Yeah, absolutely horrible. I mean, Democrats had a lead in Pennsylvania, if I remember the number correctly, and you can correct me in the comments, but they had a lead of, I want to say, over 500,000 in Pennsylvania. It was like 500 and some, I think it was maybe almost 600,000, right? That lead has dwindled down to barely 50,000. Barely 50K now in Pennsylvania. The Democrats have a lead in terms of voters over Republicans. So it is getting really, really ugly for the Democrats. Really, really ugly. And this is all with the backdrop of a mainstream media where all they do is talk about how terrible Trump is, how much of a dictator he is, and blah, blah, blah. You know, the Trump derangement. That's the backdrop of all of this. And yet still, we are gaining in every single state across the board. Incredible. That is absolutely incredible. And listen, if the Democrats can't win or gain on us in this type of environment, I don't see them gaining at anywhere, right? I don't see them making any type of gains anywhere. But here we go.
The problem that he is facing is that the depression among Democrats is really there, and he has a lot of both mental and literal debts that he has to be paying at the DNC. There's been a lot of problem with fundraising, a lot of Democrats who are not willing to put the money there, and also millions of debt from Kamala Harris's campaign that I get into in the story up on our site that has never really been reported before exactly what happened, and even hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt or payments that are going to Joe Biden's legal bills for the oversight hearings that are on Capitol Hill. It's a lot of things that are coming together and making it even more difficult for Democrats as they are trying to figure out the way forward into the midterms next year and beyond.
So not only are their numbers dwindling, right? The registration numbers dwindling, but their money has dwindled too. It's gone, vanished. Kind of interesting how that worked. As soon as USAID, vanished and Act Blue went under investigation, all of a sudden, all of their money disappeared. I wonder, maybe when we were talking about, the money circling back to Democrats somehow, some kind of way, and people on the left were calling us conspiracy theorists and we couldn't prove it, maybe we were right about that. But also, the Democrat Party has not learned, right? Neither has mainstream media, because they're still running with this Trump derangement, Trump bad, Trump bad, which, and I talked about this on yesterday's show. Honestly, I'm kind of happy they're doing it, because it's waking more and more people up every single day to the fact that mainstream media and Democrats, hold on, wait, whoa, shall not be trusted. But then also, when you take a look at the Democrat Party, you just can't make this stuff. I want y'all to watch this clip from TYT, and you'll understand why I'm just like, oh my goodness, bro. This is just shameful at this point. Absolutely shameful. Check it out.
A new memo has been released telling the Democrats which words they should stop using if they want people to listen to anything that they have to say. The list was put together by Third Way, as Jenk said, and they're a left-center think tank. So what are the words that they're advising to stop using? You can probably already guess some of them. They span 6 categories, from therapy speak to explaining away crime, and put in sharp relief a party that authors say makes Democrats sound like the extreme, divisive, elitist, and obfuscatory enforcers of wokeness. In the document titled, "Was It Something I Said?" Third Way argues that to please the few, we have alienated the many, especially on culture issues where our language sounds superior, haughty, and arrogant, according to the memo. Among the blacklisted terms are privilege, violence, as in environmental violence, dialoguing, triggering, othering and microaggression, holding space, body shaming, subverting norms, systems of oppression, cultural appropriation, the Overton window, existential threat to the climate and democracy and the economy, radical transparency, stakeholders, the unhoused, food insecurity, housing insecurity, person who immigrated, birthing persons, cisgender, dead naming, heteronormative, patriarchy, LGBTQIA+, BIPOC, allyship, incarcerated people, involuntary confinement. So that's the list. Lene Erickson, Third Way's senior vice president, emphasized that this effort is not about censorship. It's about speaking in a way that doesn't prioritize jargon or immediately alienate people who might otherwise be willing to listen to your message. So Erickson said, the Democratic Party brand is toxic across the country at this point, with way too many people, enough that there's no way for us to win a governing majority without changing that. Part of the problem was that we were using words that literally no normal people used, that we were sticking to messages that were so overly scripted that they basically sounded like nothing. We need to reflect on the ways that our bubble and our fear of being criticized by anyone on the left has led to a problem with both our policy and our language. So is anyone already doing this well? Well, according to Erickson, she suggested that Democrats should take their cues from these three: former Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg, Senator Ruben Gallego of Arizona, and Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear. Senator Gallego seems to be on the right track with this, as he is rumored to be looking at a 2028 presidential run. And by the right track, he really does seem to be on the right-leaning track, that is, as he is shifting further right, and he has done since being elected as Arizona senator, which sounds like a familiar path for Arizona senators. So we've reported on this show a few different times about how Democrats are integrating more curse words into their everyday speech and how they're embracing the podcast scene, et cetera. So for me, the question is, does simplifying the words and the message the way to actually claw back Democratic voters that may have been lost? Because one could argue that this is not the reason why Dems lost so much support going into the last election in the first place.
It isn't. It isn't. And that is why the Democrat Party will continue to lose. First off, some of the words that they use are pretty ignorant. They are pretty silly. I mean, basically the think tank just told Democrats, hey, talk like Republicans, basically, right? And that's not going to work. And then also, on top of that, we have seen, and I've talked about this in the past, right? Democrats trying to become something that they aren't. Trying to, and I'm glad she pointed it out, trying to start integrating curse words into, their everyday language. And it's like weird and cheesy, like, come on, bro, that's not you. That isn't you. Stop it. Stop it. Like, it's just ridiculous, and I always go back to the famous example of the Democrat chick who was like, I don't normally curse, and don't tell my kids, but we're gonna fuck Trump. And like they all started clapping like a bunch of seals in a circus. And I'm like, bro, what she just said didn't even make sense. It didn't even make, like, you all are going to fuck Trump? Like, what, you gonna get your cheeks clapped by Uncle Trump? Is that what you mean? Like, I'm confused. But of course they all, yay! Like a bunch of seals in a gosh darn circus. And it's just like, come on, bro. And y'all wonder why y'all can't win. It is just absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And to think that they had to have a think tank tell them, yo, hold on, let me go back to that list of words. I want to pull up that list of words. Where was that? To think that they had to have a think tank tell them, hey, all this triggering, body shaming, some other word, existential threat to democracy, right? Here, let me throw this back on the screen so y'all can see what I'm looking at. Climate stuff, stakeholders, right? That comes from the WEF, the World Economic Forum. Unhoused, right? You had to have a think tank tell you, like, bro, stop using this type of stuff. BIPOC, allyship. Excuse me. Like, it's just absolutely ridiculous. And I don't feel bad for the Democrat Party at this point. They're just, if you couldn't figure that one out, then I don't know what to tell you. I don't know. I genuinely don't. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, is anybody else confused, honestly, by the Democrat Party at this point? Because it's just like, I feel like the answer to their problem is really, really simple. Or at least to get the ball rolling in the right direction. It's so simple. It's so simple. Stop being Trump deranged. That gets the ball rolling in the right direction. Because then you're faced to tell the truth now about everything. Okay? Stop being so Trump deranged. Trump isn't Hitler. He's not the devil, right? Reincarnated. No. Stop doing that. Stop reflexively saying everything that Trump does is bad. Like, literally, that's all you have to do. And the ball is already rolling in the right direction. Now, obviously, there's more things that need to be done as well. Some of their crazy policies, right, have to be changed as well. The soft on crime stuff has to change. But that gets the ball rolling in the right direction. And yet they refuse to do it. Even in the midst of their numbers dwindling, their power is basically about to be non-existent for like the next 20, maybe 30 years. Okay, we got a 2030 census that is coming up, and they're going to lose even more seats, right? Because their states are hemorrhaging population. Okay, absolutely hemorrhaging population. Their registration, we're about to flip Pennsylvania into a red state. We turned Florida into a deep red state. Okay, Scott Pressler is probably going to go to Jersey after that and flip that too, because that one's pretty close. You know, it's just like even the mainstream media arm of the Democrat Party, their numbers are tanking. I believe I talked about that yesterday. If you haven't checked out that video, definitely go and check it out. Their ratings are absolutely in the toilet. They're losing money year after year after year. They're like, and yet they aren't reversing course. It's kind of rattling my brain, you know, to trying to wrap my mind around why is that? Like, what's the plan here? Or is there no plan because they've completely lost control of the party? At least the establishment. Y'all let me know, man. I'm interested to hear your thoughts and your opinions on this, because I've tried to wrap my mind around it, and I don't understand it. I really don't. Because if you truly want to win as a Democrat, which I know they do, at least the establishment does, why would you keep going in the direction that you're going when you're sinking? You're sinking. It's never looked any worse for your entire party than now. And you're continuing to do the same thing that got you here? You know, I don't know. Y'all let me know in the comments, man. Y'all stay safe out there. Peace and love. I'm out.